You've asked for it. It's time.
Ginger Runner.
What is up, everybody? Ethan Newberry, the Ginger Runner, here for another GingerRunner.com review. This has been one of the most asked for reviews for a long time. You guys have really wanted to see me review this, the Hoka 11 Speedgoat. I am about to review a shoe that one of the most illustrious ultra runners, Karl-Meltzer, helped design and lent his name to. Let's just say Karl can pretty much kick anybody's ass, and hopefully not mine after this review. Hoka elite athletes love this shoe. They run in it, they win in it. It's a soft, cushy platform based off the Rapa Nui. It's got tons of grip, really good for all sorts of trails and running long. The question is, did it work for me? Am I a big fan of it? Well, we're gonna find out today why I think the Speedgoat has great ingredients, but the recipe may not work for me. Oh boy. Get ready. We're about to do this. Here are the things that I like and dislike about the Hoka 11 Speedgoat, starting with things I like. Soft. Now the cushion in this shoe is awesome. It's super absorbent. You can run on super technical trails, real sharp rocks. You really don't get a lot of those poking through into your feet. As far as midsole materials is concerned, Hoka has this one dialed. I think it's a really good midsole material. Outsole. I'm loving the lugs on this outsole. Really aggressive, great for technical, sloppy, muddy conditions. Karl-Meltzer is known for winning so many 100-mile races in really extreme conditions, and his input is all over the shoe, specifically where this shoe meets the ground. The lugs are huge, well positioned, nice split outsole material so it still has plenty of flex. Like it. Durability. The upper of this shoe, the outsole of this shoe, the midsole, everything is really durable. Now, especially with the upper, the materials that they're using aren't their typical stretchy fabric materials. It's definitely like an aggressive technical mesh that keeps a lot of the big scree out, lets moisture evaporate, drains really well, lets a lot of dirt in, but has a good amount of protection and durability incorporated into that upper, which is good. Weight. The shoe is not that heavy. It's under 10 ounces, about 9.5 ounces, lighter than I thought it would be, especially with the aggressive outsole, super stacked midsole, and really well protected welded overlay upper. I was expecting it to be a heavy shoe. It's under 10 ounces, bonus. So obviously there's a lot of things about this shoe that I like. I think the 3 dislikes are pretty big for me, and after talking to many people who have run or trained in this shoe, don't seem to affect everybody, so take them as you will, but here are the things I dislike about the Hoka 11 Speedgoat platform. Now, I did not notice this in the Rapa Nui 2, which I reviewed long ago, which this platform is based off of, but for some reason in the Speedgoats, from the first time I tried them on, through all of the runs that I ran in this shoe, I noticed that my feet naturally tilted outwards, laterally in these shoes. Give me a real profound sense of instability. I'm not sure if it's because there's a different stack height from medial to lateral side, if it's all the added midsole material here in the arch, or the lack of midsole or stability features here in the lateral side of the arch, but I always found my feet wanting to roll out, and that's not good for me, who's recovering from an ankle sprain. Never quite got a good solid feel in the shoe. So to the elites and to those who are running super technical trails in these, I give you guys major props. I can't do it. Narrow. It seems to be a common problem that I have with Hokas. There are some that I managed to do just fine in. The Clifton one, the Challenger ATR, they are great. But for some reason, the Speedgoat, a little too narrow for me, and with the upper not being forgiving or stretchable, really hard set in its ways, that sense of narrowness is pretty extreme. And right down here across the top of the forefoot, these materials are all sewn together, so even though you want to tighten them a lot to help maybe hold your foot in a little bit more, you can't because the materials are too thick, and you begin to get wrinkles, and it's just not going to make you a happy foot person. And that leads me into my final dislike, and it's the major one as well, and that's the upper materials. Yes, they're durable. Yes, they let a lot of moisture out, but they do not stretch. The dirtier they get, the stiffer they get. There's a lot of loose sand and dirt that can get in through this mesh because it's a little bit wider, and all of the welded overlays really kind of compact that stiffness in. So get ready for an aggressive, very durable shoe, but in my opinion, not necessarily the most comfortable shoe. That being said, again, there are elites and people running hundreds of miles in these shoes with zero problems, so could just be me as always. You never know. Well, that's it for likes and dislikes. I think it's going to be a pretty solid shoe for a lot of people. I think it's going to be an interesting shoe for others. I find myself going back to the Challenger ATR time and time again. It works well for me on technical, long trail runs. I wanted to love the Speedgoat so bad and was really excited for it. There's just a couple things that just don't agree with my feet. I think it's time to get on with the points. Quality. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5. I think the materials will last a long time. It is a borderline 3 out of 5 just because the materials also are a detriment to the shoe. Comfort, I gotta give them 3 out of 5. I didn't find it to be the most comfortable shoe for longer runs just because of the instability. Midsole is awesome. It's super plush and soft, so that's why I give it a fairly balanced score of 3 out of 5. Price at $140, it's a bit high for me. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. And looks, bear with me here, Hoka went out and made this shoe match Karl's main sponsor, Red Bull, which I think is kind of cool. And while there was a time in my life when I did work for Red Bull, I'd be a big fan of this. I think it's just a little too clowny. The other color version, at least in the men's, is pretty awesome, and I'm a fan of that. So I'm gonna give them 4 out of 5, though it's borderline 3 with this color stay. And that brings our total to 14 out of 20. A decent score for the shoe. Again, I have my problems with it. I think the ingredients are there. The recipe may not be for me. Let me know in the comments below. Have you run on the Speedgoat? What do you think about it? Am I crazy? Actually, don't answer that because I know that I am. And let me know what you think. That is it for today's review. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, like, favorite, share, and subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/thegingerrunner. And of course, subscribe on all the social networks. Over on Twitter, it's @thegingerrunner. Facebook, facebook.com/thegingerrunner. On Instagram, it's @EthanNewberry. And of course, gingerrunner.com. Every single Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, doing live shows. As well as patreon.com/thegingerrunner. Go check that out. Cool perks for those who want to support the channel. I'll be giving some cool stuff away over there as well very soon. That's it. Hope you guys are getting out there training hard, racing harder, and partying the hardest. I know I am. See you guys next week. All right. Goodbye.